Apparently whomever or whatever it was enjoyed reading.
I guess you could say a master of disguise.
This box is a superhero?
You know, you look a lot like that old action star, Devon Danger.
I just do action films.
Name's Greg. Greg Vincent.
Bronco's coming here.
You don't have the money, do you?
My aunt runs the Mettsburg Public Library.
I'm going to be your go-to person while you're here with us in Mettsburg.
Can you say adopted?
You wouldn't be attempting to skip out on payment.
I borrowed some money from some people.
Hello, friends.
That was close!
Night, night.
Wait till you hear this one, boss.
Please, tell us more. You know what? You tell your alien friend we're gonna save the world and your family together.
Oh, that's embarrassing. Safety's on. Can we do this again?
You've got to be kidding.
You again!
I want everybody to take this moment in for a second. An alien from space.
We're rolling out here. Trying to make some movie magic.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hello, welcome to Eyeon Entertainment. I'm Donnelly Heising.
Yes, you are. You're Donnelly.
Yes, and I have filmmaker Adam Steigert here. Okay, so tell us where you grew up and about your family.
Sure. I'm out of Buffalo, New York. I was raised by my grandparents, Kathleen and William Sanders. In fact, one of my characters in my films is inspired off my grandfather, who was a detective. He's retired now, of course. And it's been kind of like the mythology that I've worked with in all my features, is kind of working off of him. But I'm out of New York. I basically self-taught myself, if you will. I went to school to do film for a total of 1 week when I had the conversation with my grandmother that and there's no money in making film, is what she said to me, and that I should find a real day job and then, pursue the passion of making the film. Like Passion of the Christ, passion of filmmaking. All right. So what happened essentially was I listened to what her advice was, and I went to school for business. And the thing with film is business and filmmaking kind of work together very much. So it worked, and it's helped me a lot, and I created a business off of it.
Okay, so your filmmaking is a business then. Okay.
Yeah, I've done commercials, although I try to stay away from. I've done other people's films, but I've also tried to kind of tone myself down from doing other work, because to put, I put a lot of pressure and love and energy into a project, and to do that it drains like the soul, the body, everything. So, and it takes a lot out of you. And now I'm getting older. Not that I'm old, but getting older. And I just kind of want to settle down. In my 20s, I basically busted my. Can I say ass on this?
Yeah.
Busted my ass. And made film after film after film. Over the last 2 years, I've kind of slowed down slightly just because of the amount of work and energy I feel that a project deserves.
Yeah, and I follow you, so you've been fixing up your house too.
There's that too, and the house has been a project in itself. But I said to my significant other, Kristen, I said to her, we should make videos on how to do some of this stuff, and I kind of think about that from time to time, thinking maybe we shouldn't because it either turns out crooked, but it gets done, it gets done.
No, I can see it gets done because you post a lot about it. But let's get back to filmmaking. Now, tell us about your first films.
Okay, all right. We did a little bit of an off-camera thing about this, and I guess it's good probably to get on a camera because I don't think anybody's ever asked me what my earlier stuff was. So I wanted to be an actor when I was really young in my high school youth, if you will. And
you would be a great one.
Yeah, but I you know what? I just can't remember lines. That's the problem that I suffer from. So I try and do cameos in my films from time to time, so maybe you can see me here and there. But I started off doing a film. It was supposed to be a zombie film, and I was very inspired by George Romero. He is a big influence on why I became a filmmaker. And I think that's so cliche because so many filmmakers say the same thing, But it is very inspiring to actually to say that my icon was, this legendary filmmaker. Needless to say, I tried to do film in high school, but no one would direct me. So, yes, exactly. So not knowing what that really entailed, I decided to direct myself, and I did. I was in my earlier stuff, but I was only in it for very short periods of time. And then I started focusing on the art of actually creating the film. And that's kind of where I actually love. I love when you write a script, and it's just words on a piece of paper. It's just words on a piece of paper, and then all of a sudden those words, they flourish. They flourish in a way that you would never expect. And then fast forward, you're sitting in a theater. You have hundreds of people around you. You have a screen. You do Q&A. You look at this, and for the first time you sit back and you're watching it, and you're getting the expressions, you're getting the views of the people. Good, bad, or indifferent, you're having that energy portrayed, and it's I always tell everybody it's like a high. It very much is like a high, and again, I look forward to that high.
So, Adam, do you write all your own films?
Yes, I actually do write all my films. In fact, every script that has ever become a feature has always started off from a piece of work that I've written. Sometimes I bring on screenwriters to help me kind of flourish out some things, make it to where it needs to go, And when we go from there, the last film I did, Fang, I wrote basically by myself, and Kristen, my significant other, wrote an alternate ending, which we had to kind of morph a touch, but not by much, which became 2 endings to the feature, and she helped me with that. So I'll give her credit on that one, but that's all we get.
And which one is Gregory's favorite?
Which one is Gregory's favorite? He's off camera right now going, woo-haw. I actually don't know which one Gregory's favorite is because so many of the actors, they come to me and they say, well, this is my favorite ending. Oh, okay. So I've heard from various different actors what their ending was, and somewhere along the line I've lost Gregory's, which is probably good because I don't want to be influenced in one way or the other when going and looking at all these amazing shots.
So there are different favorites then.
Yeah, there's the actual written script versions, and then there's the unwritten script versions that you kind of find in the art itself that you're like, well, maybe I need to morph some of this.
And which one is Kristen?
Well, which one's Kristen is the complete alternate ending, which she, drafted and kind of wrote for us. So, okay. Some people say they like that one. Some people like the other one. Okay. I don't want to say they're both good, like heartfelt, or like the ending is like how do you want to say it? Like everybody lives or when everybody dies type deal.
No, we don't want to give it away anyway.
No, and it's not distinctly like that. It's just the fact that that's how people can relate to it. It's like, well, it's the end of the film that everybody lives with, and yay, or the end of the film where everybody dies, and yay. Okay. But it's not distinctly like that. Just to be clear.
Well, let's go back to A Grim Becoming, because that's where I became familiar with your work. It won all sorts of awards, and that's when I started stalking you, because you're so talented. So tell us about that project.
A Grim Becoming is a horror comedy about the Grim Reaper. It, over the last couple of years, has suffered a couple setbacks, unfortunately. That's what the problem is when you get involved with so many people, you know. So we had to basically, and in fact, we just finished re-editing. I actually just finished re-editing the film. We cut it down from a 2-hour feature to an hour and 25 minutes in the running time. And, you know, a horror film shouldn't be, in my opinion, longer than an hour and a half. Yeah. And that's, I think, where the suffer came from, is it was a 2-hour film. And I had gone to festivals all over North America, you know, touring the film. I came out to California for one of them, and then I kind of got the opinions of what people were liking and not liking. So instead of just releasing a film and saying, there you go, I took it back and we kind of corrected the mistakes that we had found. And, you know, I've watched a film. I know my assistant editor has watched a film for the first time, and or co-editor, I should say, not assistant. And he absolutely loves this new version. And I absolutely love it, too, because it refocuses the story. And, you know, A Grim Becoming it's just such a unique concept and story, you know.
Well, I saw the long version, and I thought it was great, so I can't wait to see the new version.
Yeah, I'm sure when we do its re-release, because it is coming up in the next couple of months, we'll be releasing it on all platforms, video on demand, that is. And we may do an extended version and the new edit, if you will, the director's cut. Okay. So.
Okay, now let's talk about Star.
Oh, yes, Star. Star is a great film because it brings us back to the youth. You know, you look at films like Goonies, and I reference Fright Night a lot because Fright Night is such a great film in itself, and we kind of, you know, play off of it by any means, but, you know, there are similar scenarios that transpire with our lead actor, Richard Satterwhite, as Alex Creed, and Devin Danger. And it makes you feel young again. It makes you go back to the years when, you know, things, or it makes you go back to a time, not years, when things, well, it could be years at this point, when people, when there wasn't anything to really worry about, you know, where you don't have to worry about your health, or you don't have to worry about, oh, well, it's, you know, this is a crappy film or anything like that. It's talking about the art behind it. I mean, it's a film about a puppet. I mean, there's a puppet that's featured in it, and the ways that we do things with this puppet is impressive. We actually do a full-on puppet fight scene, straight up a fight scene, and yeah, so it brings you back to, like I said, a time when you don't have to stress everything. Go to a film and just enjoy it and relax and just have a good time. And that's what that film does.
So I can't wait to see it. And this is the film where you started working with Kristen.
Yeah, I had Kristen, my significant other, my fiance now. I actually met on a film many years ago, and she was in the process of going through something in her life at that time, and I eventually reconnected with her later on, and she came on and produced Star, and she also helped produce Fang, and I will give her a lot of credit because Fang came together a lot for her. In fact, I was actually going to take a long hiatus from doing film because doing Grimm to Star, there was so much politics involved, you know, because I personally didn't have I didn't have the ultimate control, you know. When you do a film, you have producers and stuff like that, and everybody wants their own thing out of it. So when, you know, that whole transition between Grimm and Star happened, I was just so beat and worn out. I said, I can't do another film. I can't do it. And in fact, you know, she's the one that helped me. Her and a friend of mine named Patrick Millette, who also plays in Fang, helped me push through that. It was almost like a depression in a sense, helping me push through that time I was having to create another film. And I will say that this film was a lot harder in a lot of ways than like Star or even Grimm, because personally I had taken on so many roles as a director, writer, editor, producer, candlestick maker, however you want to say it, and Kristen also. So the two of us really were the main production crew on the film. And then we had some amazing assistant directors, Janine Avery, Patrick Millette. And
this is Fang, right?
This is Fang. Okay. Yeah, this is Fang. And one of the best lighting guys I've ever met, Keith Lukowski, between him and my vision, we were able to create some artistic shots. We were able to create an artistic horror film, which is really why I think it's going to do so great.
Okay. Well, I've seen pictures from it, and they're amazing.
A lot of the pictures that we've released online are actually stills from the film. So those are totally color corrected, and that's identically what the print of the film is going to look like. So it's a little exciting.
So when you were writing it, did you take some aspects from Meet the Loonies?
Yeah, actually, that's right. One of the big things that transpired is we were trying to get. I actually had found funding for a film that it was like a spin-off to A Grim Becoming, which was called Meet the Loonies. And unfortunately, due to actor and other producer elements, we were not able to fulfill it. Even it's a hard thing when you find a full budget and then you have to be like, well, here it all comes back to you now. It's very hard because you never know if and when you'll be able to get another budget. So we had found the budget. Unfortunately, had to pull the string on it, and thankfully did, because again I was going through that exhaustion, that depression and exhaustion from doing all the other films, and I said, maybe this is good.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine you depressed, but...
Well, you could imagine a lot of sad music, I'm sure. Okay. I'm trying to set the tone for you. So anyways, we wrote the script, Meet the Loonies, and I loved the concept that it was. Meet the Loonies was always about a group of two people that are drug addicts that had to escape and they were related to the Loonies. Much like Fang, where same principle, so we took the beginning of that and adapted it into Fang, and it became, instead of Loonies, the Crawlies, I like this script much better than the Loonies was. So, and you have some very talented people, Melantha Blackthorne, Patrick Millette, and Gregory Blair, who play these three iconic characters that I think the audience is really going to connect with. And that's the cool thing. You have distinct profiles for each one, villain, and then you have like the Gregory Blair character, where he's not really a villain, and then all of a sudden something happens, and then maybe something happens again. So it's kind of like you don't really know where the Harold character, which is what Gregory Blair plays, goes, and you're always on the fence with it, which is why I think it's going to be so unique, because bringing a unique character actor into one of those roles is just, it delivers the punches that it needs.
Yeah, and he's so funny, too.
Well, that's just it. We've talked plenty of times about how Gregory, he puts his own perception and character development into the role. Me and him had gone back and forth prior to him coming out, and he had asked me, well, what did I expect in the role? I said, well, I only expected this much. I said, you're an actor. I'd like you to bring that, because, I can do all day is I can write on a piece of paper, and I can write you everything and every element about the character, but is that really doing the role justice? You know the parameters of where the character needs to be. Let's see what you can do. Bring it to, make it your own. So I'm very much a character, or I'm what do they call it? An actor's director, or director's actor? Is that how they say it? Where the actor kind of doesn't direct themselves, but brings their own mindset to the role. I give you the parameters, create your own. That's what I like. So
Patrick and Melantha are definite villains, and then we don't know about Harold.
Well, we don't really know about Harold. And just to go back with Melantha and Patrick, it's kind of funny because these are two characters that are just existing. They just exist in the world, and unfortunately, our couple comes across them, and be it good or bad, they probably don't associate with a lot of people in real life. Unfortunately, these two characters, Chloe, played by Melody, and Melly Rogan, and then Joe, who plays by Theo Maffs. It just, they walk into the wrong situation at the wrong time.
Okay, so what are your plans for showing Star and for distributing Fang?
Well, right now, Star has been submitted to a few film festivals. Unfortunately, we submitted late, so it won't be coming out until really next year, or at the end of October-ish timeframe. We'll know soon. But essentially, we've already kind of started doing its release. My objective with Star wasn't really to do a film festival circuit with it. Was more or less to just release the film. So it is available on video on demand right now on Amazon and YouTube. It is going to be on Google Play and iTunes as of next month, September 14th and the 21st. I can't remember which one. I think iTunes is the 21st, and I think Google Play is the 14th. But I might be off on that. If you go to our Facebook page, Star the Movie, you'll be able to see those dates right on there. And then Fang, we are doing something a little different with it. We are planning to do the horror circuit with it, and we'll see what happens with that. But we are going to be a little choosy with how we're going to screen it. Mainly because if it works out, like I said, there's 2 endings. We may use both. We may use one. It depends on how we portray it, and from there we may send each ending separately to a different film festival. So we're not sure on how that's going to happen. And, we're kind of in the early stages. We just finished principal photography last month, July 2017. So we're just in the post-production phase of it now.
Oh, how interesting. I mean, to have the 2 different endings, and then you'll just see which one is most well-received?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're going to go with. We're going to see which one is most well-received, and also which one I personally like, okay. Because I wrote a version of the ending that I really liked. I thought it was a really cool and interesting take on the film. And then, Kristen brought this other concept to me, and then we shot both. And now I'm kind of looking at both the footage, and I'm like, there's got to be some way that I can play with this, because there are some dynamic elements on both sections of the feature and out of the ending. So that's an awesome thing.
So what else do you have planned for the future?
Well, I've been doing the cliche universe building since I started filmmaking, and I want to say that was before Marvel and DC and all of them even started their thing. I started off with a film called Gore back in 2009. Now I think, and I might be off on this, I think Iron Man and all that was in 2008, which is where it started off, that Marvel universe. I didn't think they were going to go that route, but they ended up doing it. But we shot a film called Gore. And throughout the years, that mythology, because again, I talked before about it being based on my grandfather, even though the story isn't really based on him, it's just his character is based on him, and developed through all the films. So in every feature film that you see of mine, there's some reference to the film Gore. In Gore, there was obviously Gore. And then Ambus, there's the same town that Gore was set in, and the sheriff actually references, Ambus Alien Invasion that is, the sheriff actually references the retired detective from Gore. And then in Grimm, A Grim Becoming, you actually see the legendary house where Gore took place. And there's some other characters that happen, something happens with those characters in that house. And then from Gore, you go to Star. There's also a cameo from the returning William Sanders actor, Michael O'Hear, kind of leading us on to Fang. So that brings it into this one. And then in Fang, William Sanders, played again by Michael O'Hear, comes back, and he's now retired, and he is asked by a sheriff to go help him find these runaways. And they have to, unfortunately, go back to the fictional town of Metzburg, which, let me advise, all my films take place in. So every film that I've made takes place in the same town.
Okay, so what's Gore?
Gore.
Just Gore?
Yeah, no, Gore. And unfortunately, it's not a film that a lot of people can see because it's been off our market for a while. We haven't been, but we are planning on doing a re-release when Fang comes out of it. So, Gore is a serial killer.
Okay.
And we have 2 different films that are in development right now, which will take the stories of this continuation either 2 different directions. So we're trying to figure out which will be the next film that we try to portray. But eventually what my goal is with all this is to take each iconic character from each film and make a Monster Squad type of film. None of these films you need to see any other of the films. So they're all recreated every time. But if one of the films is very successful, you can go back and say, oh, that character had his own film. So that's something more to look at and be intrigued on and know more of the backstory.
Oh, that's great. So did you have this in mind the whole time?
I started developing it on Ambus Alien Invasion. So it was really the second or the third feature that I really did anything with that I started trying to continue that continuation. So, it's been in the works for many years now. It's coming down to the wire where you have to either, shut up or sit down type deal, because now I believe I've built the universe that I've been trying to create for so long that I can now create the story that I wanted to do. And that film is actually called Them, the Horrific Evil Monsters. And that's the route that we've been trying to continue with.
Well, that's really exciting, and it shows that your business background is kicking in on this.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly a good way to say it, because by the time we got to Ombus Alien Invasion, this had already been my 4th main feature that I made. I'm like, well, doing independent film, it's such a hard way to get distribution. Excuse me. So after a situation I had on a previous film, I said I didn't want to distribute a film unless it was a company that I believed 100% in and was reputable. So over the years, we have started self-distributing.
Oh, okay.
It's a slow go, but now with Star coming out, we've had some great success with it. So we're going to continue that for Grimm's release, and we're going to continue that for Fang and Ombus. Right now, you can also rent as well if you're interested. It's only on Amazon YouTube right now, but if you're interested in doing that or seeing that film, you can pick it up right there on Prime or rent it.
Okay, so Deftone Pictures then is also a distribution company as well as a production company.
One of my co-owners, yes, has been really trying to push that direction for us. And we are looking at doing more titles now that will go that direction. So we are becoming self-distributed, yes. Are we full-blown distribution yet? No. I think that has a little more time to iron itself out. But we're pretty much solid on how to do video on demand. So we're getting onto all those platforms. It's just store placement is our next big venture.
Okay. Well, that's great, and I'm so happy to finally meet you in person. You have to see Adam's films. He's a wonderful filmmaker. So thank you.
Oh, no problem. And you are a doll in person. And I recommend everybody to do an interview with this young lady here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.